रवे नमः. Om Narayan Narayan Narayan. Okay. We were discussing the Siddhanti. It seems there was a gap, long gap for Sugama and all. Again we are going to have more gap because 31st Swamiji's Aradhana begins on 31st. That is Saturday to 7 days. During that time I am going to discuss Swamiji's one book in English, that is Misconceptions about Shankara. That shows the contrast between Shankara's teaching and post-Shankarites. Anyway, I shall deal with it there only from daily 2 classes. So today is 28, 29, 30. Tomorrow and day after. Only 2 days we have. After these 2 days we have a 1 week holiday. ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರಾ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು. ಎನಿವೆ ನಾನು ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ. ಐ ಗಿವ್ ದ ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಟು ದೆಮ್ ಇನ್ ಕನ್ನಡ, ಟು ಅವರ್ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಪ್ರಕಾಶ ವಾಟ್ಸಪ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್. ಐ ಗಿವ್ ದ ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಟು ಪೀಪಲ್, those who do not attend these English classes. Those who do not attend these English classes, I shall give the Kannada message in Jnana Prakasha to them. So from 31st, that is tomorrow and day after leaving 29 and 30, then the 31st comes. From the 31st onwards, we are going to have for 7 days Swamiji's Aradhana. Generally during Aradhana we would invite people to come and stay here and have regular classes. But now this time, because of this lockdown, people won't be able to come. So we have talks, 3 talks per day. 3 talks per day online alone. 2 talks I shall give, and the 3rd talk Hari Venkatesha Sharma will give. So misconceptions about Shankara. In short, the difference, contrast between Shankara's Prakriya, Shankara's teaching and post-Shankarites teaching. It's a small booklet. So the 7 days I shall cover that. In Kannada only I have to cover, because our people love Kannada only. So from 31st to 6th August, these 7 days, we shall have holiday for our regular these classes. Instead of that, we shall have those classes. From temple, probably I shall speak from temple. Yeah, I shall speak from Ram Mandir, so that if those who want to come, the villagers, Holinarspura people also can come and listen. Instead of speaking here, I speak from the temple. Mandira, from Ram Mandira. So 2 days, today we have, and tomorrow Thursday and Friday. Tomorrow and day after only 2 classes this. Anyway, that also is Vedanta. After 7 days we shall continue this. Okay, so today we'll proceed with Sugama. Atma, Purvapakshi Siddhanti told that Atma is Asanga. Therefore, in real sense, Atma is not available for Adhyasa. Atmanaha Asangatvat. By its very nature, Atma is Asanga. Asanga means doesn't lend itself to be associated, to be connected with anything else. See, this is the nature of Asanga. Asanga is untouched, uninvolved, unconnected. It is something like a mirror. In the mirror, if you find any reflection, The mirror itself remains untouched by anything that is reflected. The reflections do not touch the medium of reflection, like mirror. Mirror remains ever untouched. It is uninvolved, untouched, unconnected, unassociated, anything you may use it. So asanga, because the word asanga is a loaded word, so therefore we have to translate it into many words in English. One word cannot convey the idea of asanga. The idea of asanga cannot be conveyed in one word in English, so therefore I use more than one word. Not to show my English, because my English is very poor, I know. So there is no question of showing. I can never think of showing my English. My English is very poor and very little. So okay, so asangatvat asangatmanaha. Now sarvasangarahitaha khalu atma ishyate. Atma is totally unconnected. Sarvasangarahitaha, has no sanga, no connection, no contact, no relation with anything. Unrelated, unconnected, impossible to relate, because there is nothing other than it. Okay. Nachasya adhyasa matrena asatvam prasanjayitum shakyate. Second point is, actually adhyasa is not possible, but adhyasa is found, then it is only a mistake. Okay. Now, if it is since there is no adhyasa, you can't say Atma doesn't exist, because earlier stand was anything adhyasta is perceived during adhyasa alone. Outside adhyasa, it ceases to exist. Like the snake that is perceived due to adhyasa, exists only during adhyasa, and outside adhyasa, it has no existence. That means in the absence of adhyasa, snake has no existence. Even during adhyasa, two things we told. Even during adhyasa, its existence is only perceived, not real. Not really existing, it is only perceived to be existing. That's all. Okay? So even during adhyasa, it is only perceived to exist, but in the outside adhyasa, it has no existence at all. Then during adhyasa, it is only perception, but not an existence. So this is how we told. Purvapakshi also agreed. Then the problem comes here. If Atma is also adhyasta upon the anatma, then Atma also should not exist. For this, Siddhanti told no. Atma exists independent of adhyasa. Atma can be imposed upon the Atma is imposed upon the anatma, that is body and the world. Atma is imposed upon the body and the world. At the same time, Atma exists independent of the adhyasa. This is a very peculiar nature about the Atma. Now, the question comes now, are there two Atmas? Yeah, in a way two. In a way. Note it. Nanu sarvatha cheda sangha. Purvapakshi does a good question. If Atma is totally unconnected, katham tarhi tasya dehe adhyasaha. How can it be imposed upon the body? Because how can it be imposed? You see, this question is again theoretical. We find adhyasa. When we find adhyasa, how can you say, how can it be imposed? See? So this is the people should learn how to discuss, how to think. We find that I am the body, is already there in a universal experience which nobody can deny. Adhyasa is found. Therefore, nanu sarvatha cheda sangaha. If Atma is totally unconnected, neither bodily superimposable. Atma can be superimposed neither bodily nor even a contact. See, two ways. Neither anatma is superimposed upon the atma bodily. That means completely. Its very existence is imposed upon the atma. Otherwise, it has no existence. But if similarly, if atma is neither bodily superimposed nor its contact is superimposed, then how is that we find adhyasa? This way you can put the question. How is that we find adhyasa here? Isn't it? How is that we find adhyasa? Because Purvapakshi also accepted that I am the body. The experience which we have is I am the body. That means I am sitting, I am standing, I am walking, I am here. So this I have a self-image, I have an image about myself, I have a notion about myself. That notion is not possible if body is not included in the Atma. If body is taken to be the Atma and Atma is taken to be the body. Unless Atma is taken to be the body, this notion of I am the body would not have been possible. This notion of I am the body would not have been possible. Okay. Since we have this I am the body notion, it's very evident. It is evident in everybody's life that it is a universal evidence, universal experience that Atma is adhyasta upon the body. Now the question comes, if Atma is totally unconnected with the body, unconnectable, impossible to have connection with others, then how is that we find adhyasa here? Tarhi kathan tarhi tasya dehe adhyasaha. How do we find it? Nached adhyasaha katham va adhyasta atma bhavo deha iti. Then body, regarding body also we told. Body is found only during adhyasa. How do we find body during adhyasa? How do we find body on which Atma is adhyasta? But we find. This is our experience. How are we able to find? The question is, how is it possible? He is not asking. Purvapakshi is not asking, how is it possible? Okay? But how is it that we find it? See, how are we able to find it? How means on what reason? How are we able to find this adhyasa in our life? Okay. So the question has to change. He is not asking the possibility, impossibility, logical possibility he is not asking. How is it that we find ourselves in this adhyasa? If Atma is asanga, the anubhava should not have been there. If Atma is asanga, this anubhava that I am the body should not have been there. Since we find that I am the body, since we find this notion that I am the body, now you drop this Atma being asanga. Isn't it? Now you have to drop this idea of Atma is asanga. Atma asanga, give up. Either say the reason why we find ourselves to be the body. We find I am the body is our experience. Now two things. One, you say Atma is asanga. If it were asanga, adhyasa would not have been possible. Since we find already adhyasa in our life, then you have to give up asanga. The idea of asanga, the explanation that Atma is asanga, you have to drop it because it goes against the very experience. We find Atma is adhyasta, isn't it? But one more problem arises. Since we have an experience that I am the body, that Atma is adhyasta upon the body is evident. Atma Adhyasta is evident. Nobody can deny. Okay? When it is evident, then the question arises, either drop the idea of Atma Asanga, or say admit that Atma is superimposed. Then if Atma is superimposed upon the body, which is evident in our life says that I am the body, this experience that I am the body shows clearly that Atma is superimposed upon the body. Since we have such an experience, you have to admit that Atma is superimposed upon the Deha and the rest of the world. When it is superimposed, now the next point happens. Atma's existence, any Adhyasta thing, any Adhyasta is found to exist during Adhyasa alone. Then in the absence of Adhyasa, Atma has no existence. Then again you are landing up in Shunyavada. This is the Purvapakshi objection. Now the Siddhanti answers no. Don't stretch too much the argument. You understand what we say. Let me clarify the point so that your doubt will be cleared. That Atma is Adhyasta is also true. Atma is Asanga is also true. No, there is no accepting one and dropping the other. Purvapakshi told either accept that or accept this. Isn't it? Either Atma is Adhyasta. If it is Adhyasta, it doesn't exist, independent of Adhyasa. If it is Asanga, no Adhyasa is possible. Adhyasa would not have been there, but we find Adhyasa there. Adhyasa is there in our Anubhava. Siddhanti answers, yes, Adhyasa is there in our Anubhava. Atma is superimposed upon the body. It's very clear. This we are not denying. A universal experience we are denying. But we want to say Atma is Asanga also. Hey, how is that? Yes, Atma is Asanga. That means Atma, see answer you see, Tena tu Satyam Adhyasta Atma Bhavaha Eva Dehaha. Body is experienced. In our experience, you see that there is a body on which there is a Atma Bhava. I am the body. This thought of, this notion of I-ness is associated with the body, is self-evident in everybody's, it is evident in everybody's experience. Therefore, Adhyasta Atma Bhavaha Eva Dehaha. This we are not denying. But the next point is Tena tu Dehe Adhyasta Atmanaha Eva Asatvam Syat Natu Punarasangasya Atmanopi. Then Atma will be, if you accept, now Purvapakshi says, if you accept Atma is superimposed upon the body, then the two problems arise. One, Atma doesn't exist independently. Then Atma ceases to be Asanga. Atma is not Asanga. Two problems arise. No Asanga, because Atma lent itself to be imposed. When Atma is found to be superimposed upon the body, then Atma Asanga, drop the idea. No Asangatva. Second point, no independent existence. Atma's independent existence also goes away. No Swatantra Satta. No independent existence of Atma. Okay. Atma independently doesn't exist. Siddhanti answers no. Both are correct. Atma is Asanga. Atma exists independently. Then what about the Atma which is superimposed upon the body? This is where you have to learn. This is what is most important. Only Shastra can tell you, Guru can tell you. You can't find out on your own. This is the important point. Shastra, Guru alone can tell you. Your philosophy, bookish knowledge, thinking, logic, your own analysis doesn't help. This is the point which I am going to say. Before I tell, I am only giving you introduction. Even the Mula Vidyavadins missed the point. The Post-Shankarites also missed the point which is important. It is Dehe Adhyastatmanaha eva Satvam Syat Natu Punarasangatmanopi. Two things are there. Atma Adhyasta Atma is one and Asanga Atma is another. Two things. Asanga Atma is independently existing. Atma which is not available for Adhyasa, which cannot be superimposed, which is not involved in superimposition, but remains on its own Satchidananda Atma, Swatasiddha Atma, is ever existing and is Asanga. The real Atma is always Asanga. The real nature of Atma is always Asanga. Therefore, Atma's Asangatvam is not compromised. Okay? Atma's Asangatvam is not compromised. It remains ever the same. Asangatvam is okay. Now, then what about Adhyasta? Here you says, Adhyasta Atma to Abhasa Matramiti Tasya Asatvepi Nakshatihi. What is superimposed is not the Atma itself directly. This is the point you have to learn. Atma is not directly superimposed. The real Atma, not direct, the real Atma, okay? Real Atma is not superimposed. Then what is superimposed is Abhasa Atma. Okay? What is Adhyasta is Abhasa. Chidabhasa, Atma's Abhasa. Abhasa means a semblance of Atma, not the real Atma. The same Atma cannot be superimposed. Earlier, while replying to Purvapakshi, Mula Vidyavadin or a Post-Shankara told, Atma is not bodily superimposed. See, two things are there. One is Purvapakshi, another is Mula Vidyavadi, third is the Vedanti, Shankara Vedanti. Now we are talking of Shankara Vedanti. Shankara Vedanti says Atma is Asanga. That Asanga Atma is not superimposed. Atma is ever untouched, ever existing, ever Adhyasa Rahita. Okay, now earlier, another point. Earlier, the Mula Vidyavadin or Post-Shankarite told that if Atma were bodily superimposed upon the Anatma, if Atma was bodily superimposed upon the Anatma, then the problem arises, Atma would be non-existent independent of Adhyasa. Atma would be like snake appears only during Adhyasa upon the rope. Since a snake is perceived, though it is wrong perception only, it is not a real perception, though it is perceived during Adhyasa alone, in the absence of Adhyasa, snake ceases to exist. Even during Adhyasa, it doesn't exist. During Adhyasa is a false perception, then outside Adhyasa, it has no existence. If Atma is also were like that, if Atma were also an Adhyasta upon the body, then this would be, the fate of the Atma would be like snake. Okay. This is, so to avoid this Atma's non-existence, what is the solution? To avoid this Atma's non-existence, this is interesting, you see. To avoid, if Adhyasa is accepted, okay, if Adhyasta, the problems arise, we have told already. To avoid that, to avoid a non-existence of Atma, because if Atma is Adhyasta upon the body, one problem arises, Atma would be non-existent. So to avoid this non-existent, two people give two options, two different explanations. Mula Vidyavadi or the Post-Shankarites gave his own explanation. To avoid the Atma's non-existence, because if Atma was superimposed upon the body, Atma would be present only during Adhyasa, and without Adhyasa, Atma would be non-existent. And even during Adhyasa, it is only a notion, it is not real. So to avoid this non-existence of Atma, what Post-Shankarite Mula Vidyavadin gave an explanation is that Atma's contact alone is superimposed. Only contact is superimposed. not the Atma completely. Only contact is Adhyasta. If you accept that only contact with the Anatma, only contact with the body is superimposed, and the Atma is not bodily superimposed. If you take it this way, you can avoid the non-existence of Atma, you can maintain the existence of Atma, and Adhyasa is also maintained. Purvapakshi told, now this is the post-Shankarite's explanation. Purvapakshi rejected this explanation by finding another fault with it. What is the fault with that? This is against experience. If that was the case, then Adhyasa would not have been possible. But if you go by our experience, Adhyasa being there, Atma is identified with the body. I am the body, this notion is there. Therefore, Adhyasa being there, avoiding its non-existence is impossible. Avoiding its non-existence is impossible. Therefore, Purvapakshi gives an alternative explanation. There is no Adhyasa at all. There is a real contact, real identification. Purvapakshi says his own explanation. Atma is real, Anatma is real, there is only identification. That's all. Both are real. See, Purvapakshi gives a different explanation. Vyakhyanakara, the Mula Vidyavadin, gives a different explanation. So, Purvapakshi's explanation is both are real. Atma is real, Anatma is real. Means Atma is existing independently, Anatma is existing independently. Okay, body is existing independently, not due to Adhyasa. Body is existing even without Adhyasa. Atma is also existing without Adhyasa. Both of them exist independently. Then how are we able to use the body? He says that is a real identification. You only, in mind you feel that you are the body, you identify with it and use it, that's all. Therefore, there is an identification, a real identification, tadatmya, and use it. But that is also wrong. So Purva Siddhanti, now comes to the Shankara Vedanti, that is Swamiji. Shankara Vedanti says, first Mula Vidyavadin's explanation Purvapakshi already rejected because it is against experience. That Atma is superimposed. Mula Vidyavadin's explanation was Atma's superimposition upon the body was only contact, not the bodily superimposition. Therefore, Atma's independence can be maintained. Only contact with the body is superimposed. That is against experience. Purvapakshi rejected it. But Purvapakshi offered his own explanation. Even now Siddhanti says, even your explanation is wrong. Because body is not found in the absence of Adhyasa at all. This is the most important. This is Shankaracharya himself has been telling in Adhyasa Bhashya. Anadhyasta Atma Bhavena Dehena Kinchitna Vyapriyate. Body is never found in the absence of Adhyasa. Outside Adhyasa, body is never found. When body is not at all found, Anadhyasta body is not found, is never found. Okay? Body is a body only during Adhyasa. Like a snake is a snake only during Adhyasa. In the absence of Adhyasa, it has no existence. Body is a body only during Adhyasa. Body and the world. Why body? Entire world. Body and the rest of the world. World is a world only during Adhyasa. Body is a body only during Adhyasa. Body and the rest of the world are there. They are what they are. That means they are perceived only during Adhyasa. Therefore, you can't talk of the body and the world independent of Adhyasa. Show me when there is no notion of I am the body, when there is no notion of I, show me the body, show me the world. Can you see the body without the I notion? This is Shankara Vedanta is talking. Without the I notion imposed upon the body, without having an I notion upon the body, show me the body. You can't show. You can't see. Body is a body only during the I notion. Only during the I notion. Okay? I think I am repeating the point because some of them need clarity. Some intelligent people must have understood by now, but certain other people also I am explaining, again repeating, because the point should be very clear, because this is the most important point. So only during I notion, body is the found, body and the world, body etc. Body and the world. Because body is a part of the world, body can't be independent of the world. Nor world and body are not two. Okay. Body and the world are not two, they are one. Are one only. So, without the aham atma adhyasa upon the body, body is not found. Only during atma adhyasa, atma is imposed upon the body, then you find the body. That means body appears only when it rides upon the atma adhyasa. Only when it rides upon the atma, or the atma is superimposed upon the body, only during that time. Only during mutual adhyasa. Only during mutual adhyasa an atma is found. Yeah. Now, Siddhanti told that Mula Vidyavadi's explanation is against experience, which Purvapakshi accepts and Shankara Vedanti accepts. Both of them accept that Mula Vidyavadi or Vyakhyanakara or post-Shankarite's explanation is against experience. That doesn't work. But the Purvapakshi told that both of them are real. Now Vedanti, Shankara Vedanti says Purvapakshi is also wrong because it goes against our experience. If the body is really existing, means what? Independent of Atma Adhyasa, body should be found. Independent of Atma Adhyasa, body should be found, but not. Independent of Atma Adhyasa, body should be found, but we don't find it. But we don't find it. This shows that body is body only during Atma Adhyasa. Now Purvapakshi says, by the same logic, Atma also ceases to exist. No, this is important. Atma has got two things. One is Adhyasta Atma, another is Asanga Atma. But body doesn't have that. Body is only Adhyasta body. There is no Asanga body. No Asanga body. Okay? Body is Adhyasta body. Okay? Body is only Adhyasta Deha. Deha is only Adhyasta Deha. Only during Adhyasa, body and Prapancha is found. In the absence of Adhyasa, no body, no Prapancha. But whereas the Atma, then why do you accept there are two Atma? Okay? Why do you accept two Atmas? One is Asanga Atma. Okay? One is Asanga Atma, another is Adhyasta Atma. Adhyasta, Asanga Atma is there because we find even without Adhyasa, Atma is found. In deep sleep, Atma is found without Adhyasa. But Adhyasta Atma is there because in waking state you find Atma is with the body. Because you find Atma as the body. You feel the Atma as the body. In deep sleep you find Atma independent of the body. Both are your experience alone. Therefore you say that there is Asanga Atma, there is Adhyasta Atma. Okay. Body doesn't have Asanga body and Adhyasta body. Body is only one Adhyasta body. Prapancha is only Adhyasta Prapancha. There is no Satya Prapancha, Satya Deha. Body is only found during Adhyasa. Whereas the Atma is independent of Adhyasa. Even without Deha Bhimana, Atma is found. Atma is found in Sushupti without Deha Bhimana. That means without the notion of I, Atma is found. Okay. But during the notion of I also, Atma is Adhyasta. Here it is not contact of the Atma alone that is superimposed upon the body, but during the waking state, you find Atma is Adhyasta, but that Adhyasta is only an Adhyasta Atma, false Atma. That is a false Atma, Adhyasta Atma. But during Adhyasta Atma, it looks real. That is a peculiar thing. During Adhyasa, I feel I have become the body. I am the body. Isn't it everybody's experience that I am the body? During waking state and dream state, you experience that you are the body. Yet the consciousness remains untouched by the body. There is a consciousness and there is I am the body. In Adhyasta Atma, there is identification with the body, but that Adhyasta Atma is a false Atma. That is understood only after Viveka. Before Viveka, this Adhyatma Atma itself is taken to be the real Atma. This Adhyasta Atma is taken to be the real Atma. This is where we have to do Viveka. This is the real Anubhava. Adhyasta Atma. Okay. Atma is Adhyasta and also Asanga. Asanga is the real Atma. Adhyasta is only Adhyasta Atma. That's all. Adhyasta Atma is found only during Adhyasa. Independent of Adhyatma, it is not found. But the same Adhyasta Atma is understood as one with real Atma when you wake up. In deep sleep, Atma is found without the association with the body, Asanga Atma. Without superimposed upon the body, you find the Atma independently. But during waking state, Atma is to be found associated with the body, imposed upon the Deha and the Prapancha. But this is false Atma. He says, Tenat Dehe Adhyasta Atmanah eva asatvam syat. So that Adhyasta Atma ceases when you wake up or when you go to sleep, the Adhyasta Atma disappears. Okay. Adhyasta Atma is not there. Adhyasta Atma is Mithya. Adhyasta Atma is Mithya, but the real Atma is Asanga. Therefore, Dehe Adhyasta Atmanah eva asatvam syat natu punar Asanga Atma. Asanga Atma is always there. It can never be superimposed. But in Adhyasta Atma, like in waking state, you find that Atma is identified with the body. There it is a completely bodily superimposed. In Adhyasta Atma, it is bodily superimposed, it is completely superimposed, not contact alone, as Mula Vidyavadin told. It is not the contact alone, it is the Atma totally superimposed, because we find it. That Atma which is totally superimposed upon the body is only a Mithya Atma. That means is a reflection. Like in the mirror you see the reflection. Okay. In the mirror you find the reflected Atma. But the real person is outside. In the reflected face, you have a you see your reflection in the water. If the water is shaking, you see your reflected face is shaking. If the water is shaking in the bucket, you see your reflection in the bucket. As the water is moving, shaking, your face also is shaking. Which Atma is shaking? Your reflected face is shaking, not your real face. See the difference? The reflected face is shaking, but the real Atma is not shaking. Similarly, the Asanga Atma is not Adhyasta, but it is in a reflected Atma that is Adhyasta. Adhyasta Atma alone is Adhyasta, but the real Atma is Asanga. This we have to understand. Therefore, Tena tu dehe Adhyasta Atmanah eva asatvam syat natu punarasanga Asanga Atmana Adhyasta Atma tu Abhasa Matram. The Adhyasta Matma is only a reflection of the Atma. It is Abhasa Matram. It is a semblance of the Atma, reflection of the Atma. It is not the real Atma. Tasya asatvepi nakshat. If that reflected Atma is shaking, if the water is gone, If you throw away the water from the bucket, what happens? Your reflected face goes away. The shaking face goes away. The reflected face goes away, but the real face doesn't go away. Okay? The real face always remains. It is the reflected face that goes away. Therefore, in the Asanga Atma remains without Adhyasa. Asanga Atma is ever Asanga. It is free from Adhyasa. It is always existing. It is Nitya Siddha, Swatha Siddha. It is ever free from samsara. It is an Adhyasta Atma, the reflected mind alone. The reflected Atma, the Atma reflected in the body, in the mind. Abhasa. Okay. So, Adhyasta Atma to Abhasa matramiti tasya asatve. If that Adhyasta reflected Atma, in the water, the reflected Atma, suppose if this becomes mithya, when the water is thrown, if the reflected Atma is superimposed upon the body and the world, that reflected Atma suppose ceases to exist, doesn't make any difference. Because Adhyasta Atma is anyway Adhyasta. That Adhyasta Atma neither exists independently nor exists during Adhyasa. It is only a false perception. It appears without existing. Like the reflected face in your water, in the bucket of water, the reflected face neither exists really nor it exists in water. The reflected face, it exists neither in the water nor independent of water. Okay? But its real face is really there. This is how you have to see that. Nacha evam dehasyapi sattva prasangaha. See, Atma has got two. One is a reflected Atma, another is real Atma. But no two bodies. But body doesn't have, Purvapakshi told, body exists independently. No. But body has got only one form, only during Adhyasa. Body has no two bodies. Okay. One is Adhyasta body, and other than Adhyasta, there is no Anadhyasta body. There is only Adhyasta body. No Anadhyasta body. See how clear it is, Swamiji's explanation. Based upon Bhashyakara. There is no Anadhyasta Deha, Anadhyasta Atma Bhavena, because unreflected, there is no body. Body is found only during reflection, that too reflection alone, not real. Whereas the Atma exists independent of Adhyasa and also appears during Adhyasa. Atma appears during Adhyasa as an Adhyasta Atma, but independently it remains Anadhyasta. So body has got a two aspect. One is a real, another is a apparent. Whereas the Anatma has no two. Anatma is only during Adhyasta. Without Adhyasa, there is no body at all. Body doesn't have two forms. Body doesn't have, one is a real body and Adhyasta body, there are no two. There is only one during Adhyasa. Body appears only during Adhyasa. Therefore, no Anadhyasta body. No Anadhyasta body, etc. Means as entire world. There is no Anadhyasta body and Anadhyasta prapancha. There is only Adhyasta body, Adhyasta prapancha. It is only appearance. Independent of appearance, it has no existence. Okay. So, Atmanyadhyasta dehad anyasya dehasya anirupana. This is the point. Other than the Adhyasa, outside the Adhyasa, no body, no prapancha is ever found. Whenever you found the body and prapancha, only through Adhyasa, only through a notion. Body is a notion, prapancha is a notion. The notion is taken to be the Atma. Two things. Body is a notion, no doubt. Body is a notion. The world is a notion. It is not only notion, but it appears as the Atma. It takes the Atma's basis. Atma appears as, Atma's existence alone appears in the existence of body. Atma's existence alone appears as an existence of the body and existence of the world. But the existence itself is independent. The real existence is independent of the world and the body. This you noted. See, body, take example. The face appears as reflected in water, but the reflected water, when reflected face in the water, when you look at it, you think that is my face. When it starts shaking, you understand, oh, this is not my face. That is a false face. My face is not shaking. Therefore, my non-shaking face is different from this shaking face. Earlier, before it was shaking, you thought that is my face. Isn't it? That is my face. Similarly, Adhyasta Atma alone is taken as the Atma. But when you see that Adhyasta Atma is only during Adhyasta, in deep sleep it is not there, you understand Adhyasta Atma is false. Adhyasta Atma is a notion, but even the notion appears taking the Atma, borrowing the Atma's existence. It depends upon the Atma's existence, otherwise even the notion would not appear. Therefore, I am the body, this notion of I am the body in which the Atma Adhyasa is involved, that Adhyasta Atma is false Atma. Yet it depends upon the real Atma. It takes the reality of the Atma. It takes the real Atma, and therefore Atmanyadhyastat dehad anyasya dehasya anirupanat. Atma has no existence without your abhimana, without your adhyasa. Without an adhyasa, no body is found. Body is found only during adhyasa. Yacchochyate dehasya atmanna satya pratyaksha virodaha. Next question. Time is up. Anyway, I'll just touch the point and then we'll discuss in the next class. Yacchochyate dehasya atmanya satve pratyaksha virodaha. Purvapakshi says, if deha is only due to adhyasa and without adhyasa no deha at all, Purvapakshi says it is against our experience. Why against experience? Purvapakshi says body exists independent of adhyasa. It is wrong. Purvapakshi says body exists independent of aham buddhi, independent of atma adhyasa, independent of I notion. Independent of I notion, body exists, he says. But that is not true, because we don't find that anubhava at all. You drop the aham notion, you drop the I notion and see the body, show me the body. Without the I notion, show me the body. Impossible to see. Okay, therefore, tadapyasat atmanah pratyakshena agrahanat dehasya atmanya satve. He is telling differently. Body is dehasya atmanna sakte. Body is found in the Atma, he says. Body is found upon the Atma. No, body is not found in the Atma. Because Atmanah pratyakshena agrahanat, Atma cannot be seen directly. Atma is not perceived. When Atma is not perceived, how can you perceive the body? Because when you are trying to look at the Atma, Atma is not available for perception. How can you say the body? How can you say the Atma is perceived of the body? Nahi pratyakshena Atma tad adhikaranakatvena dehova drishtaha yena virodasyat. Neither Atma is directly perceived, real Atma. Because Atma is asanga, is available, it's not available for perception. It's not available for any thought. Atma is not available for thought. It is the basis of the thought. It is a pure consciousness independent of thought. Atma is not available for any thought. Atma is independent of notion. Atma is not available for any notion. Nahi pratyakshena Atma tad adhikaranakatvena dehova drishtaha. Therefore, body cannot be seen on the basis of upon the real Atma. See, body cannot be seen on the basis of real Atma. It is seen on the basis of aham Atma notion. Body is seen upon the I notion. Okay? Body, this point we'll discuss again. Now today we'll stop it. Body is not seen with the asanga Atma. Okay? with the Asanga Atma, with the real Atma, body cannot be found. But it is found, but body is found, okay, only upon the I notion. Only on the background of I notion, okay. Body is found only upon the false Atma. Only with the false I notion alone body is found. Then found means what? It is only again perception. That the perception of the body is along with the I notion. Perception of the body is only with, that means I notion alone is taken as the body. Body is found, the thought of the body is found with the thought of the I notion. Independent, detach the I notion, body ceases to exist. Therefore, he says, tad adhikarana katvena va deho drishtaha yena viroda syat. Therefore, nobody ever sees the body with the asanga atma. With the pure atman, with in pure consciousness, you don't find the body. You find the body only by way of the I notion. Body is found only through the I notion. Only through the I notion body is found. Without the I notion, no body. Without the I notion, no body. Okay, we'll stop with this and we'll continue in the next class. Yat punaruchyate. Now we have answered basically Siddhanta standpoint, but Purvapakshi told earlier, you see, body is independently real, Atma is independently real, they are only connected with each other like pillar and the rafter. Okay, yat punaruchyate vamshaha stambadivat, like the pillar and the cross beam. Okay, is a pillar and cross beam. Pillar and cross beam, how they are connected? Both Atma and Anatma, both are real and they are connected. This was Purvapakshi's proposal. Purvapakshi proposed that. Now, Swamiji takes up this thing. Purvapakshi's doesn't work. Purvapakshi's alternative explanation is wrong. He is going to refute it. Purvapakshi's, his own model, his own explanation, alternative explanation is wrong. How? This Siddhanti will show in the next class. Purvapakshi's alternative model, alternative explanation that Atma and Anatma both are real and they are connected to each other like a pillar and cross beam. This is the pillar and this is the cross beam. Like that. So this is the way that Atma and Anatma should be understood. This is an alternative explanation Purvapakshi offered. Siddhanti shows how it is wrong. We'll see in the next class. Okay. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om Tatsat. 1 page. This Purvapakshi's refutation is a 1 page. We will see in the next class.